guys, welcome to Waste Not Wednesday. My name's Dawn the Reclusive Crafter, and today I have got rubbish, just lots and lots of rubbish. I have literally scrapped through my bin to see what I was chucking out, to see what I could potentially use in today's video. What I've also got, let me just move the rubbish out of the way. What I've also got is some very grungy journal cards and some very grungy tags, which I have made from the remains of when I was doing some little jelly prints. And this is just paper that I've used for cleaning off my brayer. And this is the result of them, and I thought they would make some lovely grungy tags and journal cards. So that's what I'm going to be using as my base for today. So without further ado, I am going to make a start, and I think I'm going to make a start on this one. I quite like the grungy idea, and it's not something that I get into very much, to be perfectly honest. So today I'm going to break out of my comfort zone and just use some bits and pieces. So the first bit I want to use, if I can unravel it, is this bit here. This was from a sheet of die cut. If you saw one of my previous videos, which was the double pockets, this was the bit that was left over from the little die cuts I had for the bows, and I thought this would make quite an interesting little piece to go on here. So we're going to see how this all works out. I am literally just going to be sticking bits down and seeing how it works, or if it doesn't work, and we're going to take it from there. So yeah, we will see at the end if we end up with anything that is worthwhile. So I hope you're all having a lovely week. I'm actually recording this on Sunday. I work full time, so I don't get a lot of time in the week to play, so I'm quite looking forward to being here, but also yeah, the week tends to get torn up a little bit with work and just the general bits and pieces at home. So I hope your week is going okay, and I hope your Sunday is going even better. So I want this to be really grungy. I've got no plan in my head at all. I am literally just going to be throwing bits and pieces at this just to see how it all works and to see if we like it, really. Like I say, I really have absolutely no plan in mind at all. And we're just going to see how it all goes. Really don't want to think about things too much. I have the tendency of overthinking things a lot, and this is going to be literally a throw it together and see what happens. And at the end of the day, if I don't like it, then it will just end up being something completely different. So yeah, we shall see what occurs. I am inking, or I am going to ink a lot of the bits and pieces that I'm using, purely because I want this to be quite a nice grungy sort of looking piece. I'm just conscious there that I've got two pieces quite a similar colour, and I want to try and keep this away from specific colouring. But we shall see what occurs. Let's use this piece, pull it apart. Will that go down there? It will. So I'm just going to tear that off there. I'm not really sure that this will show that it's being inked, but and all I'm doing initially is just layering a few bits down to see if I like it, and then I'll think about maybe gluing bits and pieces down when I've kind of got or formulated a sort of design in my head. I want it to be very fluid, and not a lot of, or to say not a lot of thought, yeah, not too much thinking involved. So I want to really give this, I quite like this little piece here which came from an old book. I'm going to try and pop that in somewhere, maybe there, who knows, that's quite cute. And then what else should we use? I've got bits and pieces all over my desk at the moment, so we'll just see what occurs. I think I'd like to maybe make use of this little piece here. Quite like the little design on there. Pop that there. I think I'm at the stage where I want to start sort of gluing things down to see how it looks, and then I might be able to work out a little bit better if I'm actually liking what I'm doing, because I'm not convinced at the moment. But that's the beauty of playing with scraps, is you never quite know what you're going to get. It's a little bit like that proverbial box of chocolates. There we go. Right then, so I'm going to grab my little glue box. Oops. And I'm going to try and make some sense of how we want this to look. So if I just scooch that, try and scooch it off in a sort of, let me scooch all this rubbishy bits over there. Let's see what we can start doing. I must admit, I've never actually used scraps to this level before. I've seen some videos of people using scraps very similar to this, and making use of them, but I've never journeyed into this type of scrapping before. So this is quite a new concept for me, and I'm quite interested to see how it all comes out, if I'm honest. But yeah, as crafters, we really don't throw a lot away. But sometimes it's difficult to know exactly what to do with things. But hopefully, if this works out and we like it, it might give some ideas and inspirations to some other people in, in that, you know, there doesn't really need to be a lot of forethought goes into using bits and pieces up. You can make something quite stunning out of literally nothing. I know I was going to put this piece down here. I'm quite liking the look of this so far, and there will be a focal point. It's not just going to be a mishmash of bits. I will be putting a focal point on here, but I just want to get a little bit of background in there first to see how it kind of works or doesn't. I'm not sure about that bit now. I think I might tear that down a little bit, just make that bit a little bit thinner. I'm not really sure I like that, having the white there as much as it is. Let's just have a look and see what it looks like once it's been inked up. Like I say, I am looking for that sort of grungy look, so maybe it'll look better once it's inked up a little bit. I quite like that. We're gonna pop that on. And this piece has got like a holly design printed on the back. So, oh, that's actually come off. So it was obviously a piece that I'd done last Christmas. Not quite sure what it was. It might have been a journal that I did last Christmas. What was I going to do with that? I think I'll pop that there like so. I don't mind that it's obviously upside down. I don't mind that at all. I want to put some black in here actually, and I think I might just lift that up before it sticks down and maybe pop a little piece of black card in there, possibly. I think it's a bit sticky. I need to change my glue page because that's just made it very sticky. Let me just tear that bit off. Pop that in there and stick that down there. I need some tissue just to clean that off a bit. Okay. So, what do we think? In an odd sort of way, I quite like it. I think it makes the card look an odd size. I don't know if that's just my eyes, but it's 10 centimetres there. It is just slightly off, so I might need to cut that down just it's literally a couple of millimetres out. It's not a million miles. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. Okay, so let me just change my glue page because that's all a bit nasty now. I have already given a little bit of thought as to what I wanted my focal point to be on here, and I quite like, don't do the crossword will you while I'm doing this, I quite like these, and I came across this which I thought was lovely, Promise of Love maybe. And I've also got this, which I've got from a, what was this out of? I can't think of the name of the book. I think it was, let me have a look because I need to tell you this, because they are lovely. Just bear with me. There we go. It was from this. It's collage ephemera for art journaling, and it's Marry Me Small Art. They're available on Amazon and they are just full of little bits and pieces. They are gorgeous. They are absolutely lovely, and you get lots and lots of different designs in there. So I've pulled this from there to try and make use of, but I don't necessarily want all of it on here, but I quite like the idea that there's a hint of that there. And I think I actually prefer that way round, so just bringing things in here, and I quite like that there, although we are now covering up a lot of what I've already done, and do I really want to do that? I don't know, and this is where I start overthinking things, so sorry. Right, I'm going to stick this one down because I do like this, and I'm just going to ink this up. Let me grab my ink, and then we are going to stick this piece down because I really do like this particular picture, and I'm going to have to apologise because I really cannot remember where this originated from. As I've said before, over the years I've picked up many little bits and pieces, and I collect them from all sorts of places. Facebook is a really good place for picking bits up. People are often printing or publishing on Facebook free printables, which you can make use of, and I must admit I do take advantage of that quite a lot, and use the free printables as much as I can to try and keep the creative cost down, shall we say, because I think it's fair to say, as we all know, that hobbies can be expensive, so it's really nice to be able to reduce costs a little bit wherever we can. So, where do I want this? I think I'd like it just off the side a little bit, just there, and I'm going to cut that little piece off. And this card that I'm using, it was actually file card. It's quite thick, but they're really nice to work with for journal cards and tags. I was gifted a huge big pile of cards, and they really do make really good journal cards and tags because they're really quite robust and sturdy. Okay, I think I'm going to come in there with that. I quite like that. So initially I'm just going to trim this down so that I'm not working with quite such a big piece. And that, I think, I quite like the colours of the pink there and the blue. I think that ties in really nicely. I'm just going to throw a little bit of ink on there. Like so. That's very pretty, isn't it? There we go. And I think I'm going to pop that on there. In fact, I might just come up just a little bit on there. Perfect. Liking that. Oops. I'm going to invest in a large desk one of these days because that would just be lovely. A desk that I can actually find room to work on would be amazing. I'll just move that ruler out of the way because it's getting on my nerves. There we go. That's now out of the way. I was going to use this, wasn't I? Do I want to... Let me tear that down just a tiny little bit more. Am I going to put that there? What do we think of that? Do we like that? Or is that just all mashed up a bit? It's a bit mashed up, isn't it? Maybe I can bring it down. Quite like that. Okay, let me just pop a little bit of ink on there. That's that one. That's quite nice. This was literally just out of... Oh, it was a Slimming World magazine. There we go. I got that out of a Slimming World magazine. I'll pop that down there, liking that. I might... Oh, can I scooch that over before it dries? I don't know. Let me try and scooch it over a bit. In fact, I'm going to scooch it over quite a lot. There we go. I like that better. There. Doesn't cover up quite so much of the pretty flower. That's that one. Loving that. Okay. Cooking on gas. And then that, I think, works there. Maybe. What do you think? Let me just... I'm not going to really be able to see the inking on this, but it just takes off the little whiteness of the core of the paper, which is what I'm looking to do. There we go. Try and get that on a bit that's not already gummed up. That's that one. Pop that down there. And I wonder if we want to just pop that across there. I think that would work quite nicely, maybe. And now, oops, the lid's just fallen in the bin. I'll dig that out shortly. And we'll pop that there, I think. There we go. So, and at the risk of going overboard on this, which I don't want to do, I am going to, where's my glasses? There they are. Oh dear, my eye's nearly better. I'm hoping to be able to get into my contact lenses again on tomorrow, in fact, which is my Monday. So hopefully it won't be such a struggle for me to do these videos and struggle to see what I'm up to, which would be nice. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to ink around this now just to see how it looks. Tiny little bit there needs trimming. So I'm going to just finish inking that around. And there we go. There's my lid. There it is. Let's just get that out of the way. And that's my first one done. So I appreciate that you can't see a lot of the bits that I put in the background, but I do feel that the bits in the background do make a difference. So I'm going to go off camera and make a few more of these, and then I'll come back and I'll show you the finished articles, and you can let me know what you think. That's not straight, maybe it is straight, doesn't look it. So yeah, so that's my first one. I quite like it, so I'll come back and show you some others when I finish them. Won't be long. And I'm done. So this is the one that you saw me making, and this is the final piece. And then we've got this one, the little boy, which I thought was really cute. Hopefully you can see that nicely, with the label, a little bit of the flower that I'd used from this I've now used in there as well, so there's no wasting there. And then a little tag. This is one of the final ones that I did, and I decided not so much to use the really scrappy bits, but I had little bits that I thought went really well with this particular tag, and I quite like that. And then we've got this one, which is a little girl looking very demure, bless her little heart. And I have got some bits and pieces around the back, although the way I've placed things you can't really see everything, but I think it lends itself well to that one. And then this little sweetie, feeling very thankful, with a few more scraps there on show. And then finally this one. So those are what I finally got out of a pile of rubbish, effectively. So there's 4 beautiful tags there, which can be used in pretty much any journal that you make. And then we've got the 2 larger journal cards, which I think are also fabulous. So I hope you liked the video. Please subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you all again on one of my other videos. Thank you so much for joining me today. Bye.